Yes, sir. Ah, yeah, they.
Rayner,
Here.
Secretary Sislo here, Director Becker,
Here.
Director Ertel, Director James,
Here.
Director Nutting,
Here.
Director Ramirez,
Here.
Director Tozan,
Here.
ex officio Marthouse. We have a quorum.
Would everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
As you can see by the agenda, the minutes of the October 16th, 2020 meeting were approved by email vote on November 2nd, 2020.
If anyone would like to speak tonight, please sign up. The sign-up sheet is next to Ronnie James, who's right there. Okay, do we need a motion to approve the agenda unless someone needs to add something to it? Do we have
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second that.
Okay. Mr. Gillen made the motion. Mr. Nutting seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, next we're moving to the presentation section. Ms. Donna Godey? Pardon? Gady. Okay, would you please come up here to the podium? Ms. Gady is the pool supervisor for the POA.
Yes, I am. So, most of you know me, some of you don't. I'm Donna Gady. I've lived here 4 years, but our pool staff plays an important role in the day-to-day operations of the pools and the parks and the other amenities. They check the members in, make sure they're up to date with their POA cards, ensure the guests are also registered safely, follow rules, get the umbrellas out, clean the areas for the residents, prepare for storm emergencies, sudden closures in the pools for different reasons, could be anything from weather to feces in the pool, monitor the parks, playgrounds, ball fields, basketball, etc. Currently, we have sign-in sheets. I keep a monthly running number of those sign-in sheets with all the members, and I've given you the totals on all of those sheets for the past 2 years. Give or take probably 5% of human error in there. Prior to Katrina, our guests were sold guest passes for $2 per day. Pool staff sold them, also collected them to ensure that they were only used once. Residents could pre-purchase them at the office. Starting to charge guests again is definitely a good idea. Currently, we allow each resident to bring up to 6 guests. This could change to 2 to 4 guests, free of charge. After that, an additional charge could incur. Same rule would apply to renters with property in good standing. It's my understanding that renters at one time also paid a fee of $60 per member or per person per household. So that could be another thing that we could possibly look at. Currently, we also rent the pavilions, which allows up to 20 guests free. Residents use the pavilions daily. Again, I have given you those totals as well. Lower the guest count and maybe an upcharge to that. For that, I also propose, due to the heavy use of the pool, that the inside pavilions of the main fencing at the main pool be included and the fencing moved. I gave you one estimate for that. I'd be happy to get other estimates for that as well. It could also be something I think we could maybe look at in-house. We've managed to rent the pavilion, especially with that splash pad edition. It's busy prior to COVID, and again, you've got all those numbers. We could raise the pavilion rental fees from 30 to 40, offer better seating at each pool, fix up the pools in the pavilions, offering food from the club, drinks, generate great revenue, give us 2 more resort-like pools to use, East Rec included. We've got a huge concrete area over there. Currently, we have Adirondack chairs, coffee tables, light-up umbrellas. It's really a nice area. We're looking at some other things like that, too. Main pool is the busiest pool that we have here. Then it's East Rec, North Rec, and then the Holiday Village pool. Splash pad was something that was addressed to me. Is currently concrete. I have done all the area research, Bay St. Louis, Long Beach, Waveland. Those splash pads are all concrete as well. It was removed due to the fact that it was peeling. The small pieces of the plastic that they melted from recycled bottles started to get into the pool and is where the kids were cutting their feet. It's going to cost over 10 grand to resurface that pad. And again, all the other area splash pads are concrete. I believe there was only one person that maybe had complained about it. I did not get any complaints about it being concrete. I think that's all I have.
Does anyone have any questions for Donna?
Yeah, it's coming. How do you propose that we are going to have renters pay?
It's my understanding in talking with several people prior to me coming here, I've only been doing this for 4 years, this being running the pools. The numbers have increased with rentals. Renters prior to Katrina, I think that right around that area, it was $60 per person per, so everybody in the household. So say you were a renter, Ryan would pay the 60
Gotcha.
each. Or they could buy, the monthly or weekly type pass. Then the homeowners, the actual owner of the property could purchase them guest passes the same way.
Awesome.
They are still technically, especially in my vision, they're still not a member.
Right.
They're not a POA member. The homeowner is the POA member. So I kind of feel like you're kind of giving the house away a little bit. That and Airbnbs and that kind of stuff too. So.
Well, Donna, I want to just let you know, thank you, because you're extremely passionate about your job, and I've seen you perform your job, not because I've met you a few other times, but thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Does anyone else have any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you have a question? I'm sorry. Did I
I'd
miss
like
you?
to make the motion that we refer this to the rec committee, have the rec committee make recommendations back to the board.
Okay, well, we can just handle that and just do it that way.
Okay.
We're not voting on, the only thing we're going to vote on tonight is that we are going to charge guests. We're no longer going to allow them to come in free. Okay, but that's a little bit later. Okay, for the president's report, Some of you have attended meetings before, have heard a little bit of this, but there's some new things. First, we thank the city of Diamondhead for giving us the opportunity to meet here and conduct our monthly meetings live at no cost to the POA. This is going out live on YouTube, and a recording of the meeting will also be available on the POA's YouTube website. The POA really doesn't have the appropriate equipment to do this kind of thing, to show the meetings. This is a good example of how the city and the POA can work together for the benefit of all the residents. We offer a special thanks also to the grounds maintenance people, the golf course maintenance, the facilities maintenance, and the club staff for working together to get almost everything up and running within a few days after the recent hurricane. There was a lot more damage that was done to the club and so forth than what I originally thought. I'll just give you a couple quick things. In the clubhouse, that section of the gable roof was blown in. When that happened, all the rain and the wind went in, down to the 19th hole and down the hall. It also went up in the attic in certain places and kept moving around. In the marina, the 2 floating piers were damaged, but they're usable right now. The 2 fixed piers were damaged pretty bad. The Lazy Gator, as you know, the POA owns the building. The damage was able to reopen. They fixed it and was able to open this weekend. The golf courses, it seemed like we had hundreds of trees down. Most of all of those have been cut and removed. Some trees on POA property did fall and hit houses and so forth like that. Golf course maintenance didn't really feel comfortable removing those kind of trees, so tree companies were hired to get those trees off of houses. The adjusters visited last Monday. The general manager, when he gives his report, he can maybe give us an update on that. So a brief review of what's going on. Actually, the POA is basically a land management company that has a fiduciary responsibility for maintaining and running all the amenities. The covenants versus the amenities, those are 2 separate issues, okay? The covenants deal mainly with architectural issues such as size of houses, setbacks, and so forth. At least 30 sets of covenants may or may not have expired, and you can't really renew them by going out and trying to get 85% of the people to do that. However, there are some other things that we are dealing with now. The city ordinances will take the place of covenants if covenants have expired. Ordinances mirrored the covenants as much as were possible. Ordinances can do some things that covenants can't do, but covenants can do some things that ordinances can't do. For the amenities, our amenities, as we've mentioned several times, are valued between $15 and $20 million. Obviously, there's a lot of value to our community, and the POA should do whatever it can legally to maintain the amenities. The assessor and all the local real estate people have said publicly that if amenities were to close, all of us will lose property values. So the research shows that if things close, property values will decrease from 15 to 35%. So the whole thing is trying to keep all the amenities up and running. I suggest if you have any idea what happens when amenities start to close, ride down to the St. Andrews area in Ocean Springs. They lost one very modest golf course after Katrina. And just look around, they're still struggling 15 years later. See if you'd want to live there. If amenities were to close, property values, here's a specific example. If amenities were to close, and that's if, and your property or all of our property values went down by 10%, that's less than the 15 to 35% that occurs whenever that's happened in other places. Assume your property value is $120,000 right now. If you lost 10%, that means you've lost $12,000 in value, and now your property value is $108,000. How long would it take you to make up what you've lost? How long would it take you to make up what you lost? If you take $12,000 in loss, if that occurred, and you divide it by $55 per month, which is what we're paying now, it would take you 218 months, or approximately 18 years, to make up what you've lost. That's why it's important that we do whatever we possibly can to keep up all the amenities. The obvious answer is for all property owners to continue to pay monthly dues to keep up the amenities, which add value to everyone's properties. is the POA operation perfect everywhere? Obviously not. Okay, but there are always opportunities for improvement. We're working to do things in the open, as evidenced by this meeting tonight, which is going out live on TV. I can tell you that 4 months ago, when some of us got involved in this, a lot of people said that would never happen. Okay, this would never happen, but it has happened. So it is possible for positive change to occur. We also believe we have to make the club the center of activities for the community. Presently, it's called a country club, but that denotes some exclusivity. But it's never been an actual country club the way we normally think of it. The plaque on the front of the building, if you've ever looked at it, says Diamondhead Clubhouse. So you'd be surprised at how many people also use the country club for meetings and organizational things all year. Yesterday, there was a big kids golf tournament there yesterday afternoon. It was really interesting to see all the young kids playing golf. All their parents were there. They rented golf carts to ride with their kids. They came and ate on the patio afterwards. That's the kind of stuff that we need to do more of. We need to have more family activities as we move forward. So in summary, we simply need to work with everyone together to ensure we can continue to have a really unique community in terms of what we have to offer to our residents and guests. Okay, the next thing that we have are committee reports. Mr. Becker?
Thank you. The Golf Committee met on November the 12th, 2020. I'm pleased to report that all the members were present. We talked about the repurposing of the academy. We got a report from the general manager about how that was progressing. We're looking at the end of the lease of our golf carts, which occurs in almost the middle of next year, and we're working on a program to replace them. We'll probably be making a recommendation to the board at the next meeting. We're still waiting to tie up a few loose ends, I believe, with the golf cart companies, and then we'll have a recommendation for the board. We think we're going to be able to improve our fleet while not spending a lot more money. We had a discussion of the usage of the legacy tee times, and that's an ongoing discussion. Nothing was reached as far as a decision or a change is concerned. We talked about the hurricane cleanup process. Dan was at the meeting, and we'd like to commend him and his staff for doing a wonderful job with limited resources. When we spoke about how much outside help he had brought in, he had rented a piece of equipment, but other than that, it was his staff who has cleaned up both golf courses, and they're really looking well again. Of course, there's still work to be done. We were, in fact, lucky that Dan's brother is the superintendent at a golf course in New Orleans, and he was able to borrow a vacuum machine from them that helped to pick up sticks and leaves and twigs, and that was a huge benefit to us. So we really owe Dan and his staff a group of thanks, of course, as well as all of the employees. The other things we talked about were the lighting system and whether it was a benefit or a liability. We'll continue to look into that. And lastly, the proximity of the putting green next to the new patio and the potential issues that are involved with them being so close together. And that, again, will be an ongoing discussion. And that was the meeting.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Gillen?
Airport and Harbor, our Marina Committee met actually last Wednesday night. The focus of our attention was on what happened mostly in the marina, and as anybody's been down there, you can see the amount of damage we have. We do not feel that 3 and 4 piers can be rehabilitated. 1 and 2, obviously, the floating piers did very well. 4, Adam thinks he can have it back in at least limited use in about next week at the latest. The only problem with it is the pier that goes to it, where we had the ramp, is heavily damaged, but he thinks he can get that running up and working. The walkways that came out from where the launch is, he thinks maybe we can get that repaired and get some of that. It's not a perfect launching situation because there's no place for anybody to walk alongside the boat when you launch it. You basically have to back down with somebody already in the boat ready to go, and maybe we've said that they could go over by the restaurant's floating dock and load their boat from there. We've signed the contract for the wild pigs to be eliminated near the airport. That's in place now. We've also are still have ongoing discussions with partnering with Stennis to buy fuel at a discounted price. They can buy, say, 10,000 gallons, which we don't need anywhere near that, and we can maybe siphon off 2,000s from them and take advantage of the lower price. So that those talks are still undergoing. That's about it for that. As far as the admin committee meeting, most of what we had to talk about were some legal and personnel, and those things can't be divulged at this meeting right now.
Okay, thank you. The Futures Committee's been looking at a variety of options for the future, trying to project what will happen or not happen in the future is always interesting. These options will be brought to the POA board soon, and we'll go from there. Thank you.
The Recreation Committee was scheduled to meet last week, Tuesday, and because of Truck or Treat, we're meeting tomorrow. So we have nothing new to report.
Mr. Tozan?
The House Committee, some members of the House Committee met with the focus group, which is dealing with the attempt to change the branding of the club. Receiving ideas from them, we're reviewing it and have had meetings discussing that. The damages to the 19th hole may be an opportunity for us to make some changes that we want to make to improve the use of the 19th hole and the use of the restaurant. We're exploring those changes as well. We're all in general agreement. The word country club pretty much we need to do away with and go with the idea of it's our club building for the community, and looking for ways to increase use of that building. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Ramirez?
So for the grounds committee, the committee got together and went and toured all of the different facilities, assets, and there were several that we didn't find very much that needed to be changed, and there was other areas that we thought that we could do some improvements on. We actually were scheduled for another meeting last week, and unfortunately I had a semi-family emergency in South Carolina and had to leave, and so the meeting did not take place. I'll take responsibility for that. With that being said, because of the storm, I'm sure the grounds maintenance group was already busy, and so they probably didn't need to hear us telling them more things that we thought that might need to be done. So we'll let things die down a little bit, and then we'll move forward. We've got another meeting scheduled for next month.
Mr. James, you have anything to add?
No.
Okay, next is General Manager's report. Mr. Abity?
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to start my comments with wishing all of you and your family and all of the attendees in the audience a happy Thanksgiving. This is a special time of year for me and my family, and I wish all of you the best and hope that you have a nice holiday. There are activities at the club that deal with Thanksgiving buffets and lunches, and those of you that are looking for a great place to have a festive occasion, we welcome you and encourage your attendance. Each of the committee's chairpersons have given a good synopsis of the details of their meetings, and I don't have many things to add to that. I provided each of you with a packet of information which includes the most current data that we have on the financial reports, which includes October and also year-to-date financials. There's another page that deals with comparing a revised budget for year 2020, and that's just simply taking an average of the first 10 months, adding it to the October actuals, and coming up with a revised budget for 2020, and then comparing it with the most current projections for year 2021. So that gives you a somewhat of a clear picture. Our intention is to have a clean submittal of the 2021 budget to all of you, certainly in advance of the December meeting, and it's at that time that we would expect further comments or an approval. The golf committee chairperson, Mr. Becker, disclosed the fact that the golf carts were coming up on their end of lease. We have a demonstrator golf cart available for anyone to look at or use for experimentation, to give us feedback as to your thoughts as to whether or not we're on the right path there with the selection process. I will state that both of the vendors, we invited 3 vendors to provide us with bids. We received actual bids from the 2 leading manufacturers in the industry. They're very competitive. Both desperately want our business. And I feel that we're leaning in a direction that will be an improved situation for Diamondhead. In addition to what's in your packet, there's a summary of the impact of Hurricane Zeta. You referenced the visit from the insurance representatives last Monday. There were 3 gentlemen who came and met with Darian and Adam and some of our department managers, inspected all the various properties and amenities, did a detailed, thorough analysis, and the response from them is due to be handed to us this Friday. Upon receipt of that, we'll distribute it and make you all informed of what their findings were. And subsequent to that, we can begin taking action and being aggressive in updating, retrofitting, repairing those parts of the property that need attention, such as the 19th hole and the marina and other aspects. I really don't have anything further to discuss with you this evening. Looking forward to meeting with the Recreation Committee tomorrow evening. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Anyone have any questions?
I do. Sir, when are we going over the next phase of the budget?
Before the next board meeting?
Okay, so you're going to send me an invite?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. And I want to share in President Knobloch's thank you to the city of Diamondhead for extending the courtesy to utilize their facility. And I'd also like to express a sincere appreciation to Dan Hammond and his crew members for doing not just a good job, but an exceptional job in getting the golf courses, the general grounds, and the presentation of the Diamondhead properties back to a standard that is usable, it's safe, and is currently being enjoyed by many individuals. So with that, I'll say thank you and happy
Thank you.
Thanksgiving.
I'd like to clear up one thing. Ms. Rayner just asked if you'd send her an invite. That means, for the rest of you, an electronic invite, because she lives by her calendar electronically. It's not that she's not invited to things, okay? So please make sure we understand that.
I'm sorry, Ernie, it had absolutely nothing to do with that. The thing is that the budget was supposed to be prepared by the 31st. And of course, we had Hurricane Zeta, okay? I had to ask Darian, as I do every month, to please send me the financials. That's all.
Okay, thank you.
I
Thank you.
understood the question and respond in a manner that we respect Ms. Rayner, and we'll see that she gets the information that
Okay,
she
Thank you.
should.
thank you. Mr. James, is there anybody signed up to speak on an agenda item?
No, no one for the agenda.
Okay. We don't have any unfinished business. We don't have anything on consent agenda, so now we move to the regular agenda. Anyone like to make a motion to charge guests for using the POA swimming pools starting this year?
So moved.
Ms. Sislo makes a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Dr. Nutting seconds. Any discussions?
As a member of the Recreation Committee, I just want to say that's exactly in line with what we've been talking about and wanting to do, and her proposal makes a lot of sense. So we'd like to go forward with it.
Any other comments? Okay, all in favor, please raise your hand. Aye. Yeah. We got 8 ayes, 1 nay. Is that correct?
Opposed.
Okay, 8-1.
Needs more information.
The second motion is to approve starting an ambassadors program. Would anyone like to make a motion on that? It's actually part of your the background information list. Anyone interested in doing that?
I'll make the motion that we start the ambassadors program.
Okay, Mr. James, do we have a second with anyone?
I'll second it.
Mr. Gillen seconds. Mr. James, any comments?
I think it's a great idea. Previously, where I was, we started the ambassador program and recruitment, and it worked quite well. It gave people opportunity to come and view the facilities. Ambassadors talk to them in advance, be there to show them around along with supporting members of the board. And I think it's a great opportunity.
Any other comments?
Just one small one. I think it's a great idea. You should try to roll that into the newcomers club as well, who have been very active and have done a good job about welcoming new people to the community. They may have to revamp their brochures and programs to fit with the new trends and the changing demographics in Diamondhead. But if those two groups could work together, I think it'd serve a good purpose for all of us.
Agreed.
Mr. Becker?
Yes, for the benefit of those here and those that are listening live online, Ronnie, would you please read the goal of the proposal?
Okay, the goal of proposal is to create a group of residents who agree to meet with prospective purchasers of property in Diamondhead or new Diamondhead residents. An ambassador would offer to show the new residents, 1, the amenities that we offer, 2, introduce them to Diamondhead residents who may have similar interests, and 3, introduce them to some of the key POA personnel, and offer to help the new residents in any reasonable way that they can.
Thank you.
One of the things that we've run into with a lot of the research things that have been done is that people do not, when they come in, they don't feel welcome and they don't know anybody and they feel kind of out of place. So hopefully an ambassador could help to relieve some of that stress on them, and we can do some things to help them become active members. Any other comments? Okay, all in favor, raise your hand, please. Okay, it's unanimous. Thank you. The next one is a motion to approve our attorneys to make a settlement demand upon People's Bank for the amount that was discussed in the executive session. Anyone like to make that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Gillen makes a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Dr. Nutting seconds. Any comments or questions? Okay, we'll have a vote. If you want to do that, motion to approve, please raise your hand. Okay, the motion is unanimous. Thank you. Do we have members, POA members, who want to comment on a non-agenda item, Mr. James?
We do. The first one is Ronald Wenzel.
I don't know. Please tell us your name and how to spell it.
Yeah, my name is Ronald Wenzel. Last name Wenzel, W-E-N-T-Z-E-L-L.
Okay, thank you very much.
One of the things that I came here for was, I went to the city people and asked them, like, when are they going to start doing the cleanup around the Cove community? I went ahead and had mine taken care of myself and paid for it rather than have it thrown out in the media. And I don't like all that trash hanging around. People come here now and if they see that, of course, I know the storm just passed a while back, but it's like you don't see anybody like even starting somewhere to clean up, and it's just deplorable to me. Another thing that I would like to talk to the guys who like into the golf course thing with the golf carts. Now my family runs the Ship Island excursion, and I've done numerous things with trying to attract business to us, and even in hard times like this year with the coronavirus. So we initiated a lot of other things to make money, and if you run things to make money, then it's more apt that you can project and advertise your business to other things where you can generate that money. And I know that's what y'all are trying to do here. And one of the things that I have people that come on our trips, and they come from New Orleans, they come from Houston, and a lot of these people come from all over the United States. We get people even from Hawaii that go out to Ship Island. And what we find is that some of the people that come here that may stay at the Hollywood, of course, they got a Hollywood golf course over there. But then some of them that say, well, we tried to get tee-off times at Diamondhead, because I tell them, well, they got golf courses right where I live. And I said, why don't y'all come there? Y'all can come stay at the house with me or whatever, But, they say they can't get tee-off times in the morning. So, if you can't get a tee-off time in the morning, what's the point? And so that's why a lot of people may be shying away or, look at it like, well, I can't get the tee-off time I need to play because it's all sewn up. If you start running it like a business, you're going to find that you're going to make a hell of a lot more money.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your comments. Mr. Rizzo is the city manager here. Would you like to come up and just give a real brief issue of what's going on with the trash pickup?
This is talking about the golf course. We run our golf carts with, got 18 batteries on our golf course. And we use a solar panel on the top, never ever charge the battery. Welcome to the.
Yes, sir.
Good evening. As for debris pickup, obviously, we don't like having it on the street either. The problem, I'm going to call it, as a problem, is we're probably looking at about $1 million, probably about 100,000 cubic tons, cubic yards, I'm sorry. So we are following all of the guidelines that are required upon us by FEMA and MEMA for procurement. So we got authorization at the first meeting after the hurricane. We advertised the Wednesday the next morning, then we advertised last Wednesday, then we're required to wait 7 business days before we can accept and award that bid, which makes it Friday the 20th. So that's what's required. Hopefully we'll recess our meeting to Friday, because we have a meeting tomorrow night, and award a monitor's contract first thing Friday after going through those bids. Following that, we'll award the bid removal contractor, which will start removing debris sometime next week. Hopefully Monday, Tuesday, as fast as they can go, with assets in each ward is our goal. Okay. We'd like it to be faster. I've been working to do a prearranged contract. That way the procurement doesn't have to happen after the storm. So we had that. We sent it to FEMA in February. And obviously COVID struck, and FEMA's attorneys basically gave us this and said, hold on. And we've been kind of on hold. My intention is to put it back in front of the council and advertise for prearranged contracts. But for right now, we're looking to remove debris beginning of next week.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Those of you who were here after Katrina, although you can't compare these two, it was months, if you remember, before we got rid of a lot of stuff here. Is there someone else who wants to speak, Mr. James?
Yes, Bob Pino.
Bob?
Hello.
Hi.
I'd like to request for myself and for all the other members of this organization that within the financial information that's given to us each month, that it includes the amount of the accounts receivable for unpaid dues. Not just the amounts of dues, but the aging amounts, 60, 90 days, 6 months, whatever's appropriate. And that information be given to us, the members, on a regular basis each month. And after that's done, my next request to the board would be to publish the names of the people who are delinquent in their dues beyond some certain amount, whatever's appropriate, 6 months, 3 months, I don't know what it is. But so to be clear, I want the members to know what other members are not stepping up and fulfilling their financial responsibilities to the POA.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll discuss that with Mr. Abity. Anyone else, Mr. James?
That's it.
Okay, the next meeting will be on Monday, December the 21st. I realize that's a few days before Christmas, but I think we can handle it on the Monday of that week. Also, we invite everybody to join, most of us, or some of us. So if you go over to the 19th hole, once this is open, I'd say I'd buy you a drink, but I'd have to double my salary. So, would anyone like to make a motion to adjourn? Mr.